nobody mention Bankhead without acknowledging me.
We're in the bricks, P-Town. One original that they won't tear down. Hello.
Hey, yo, it's your boy Casual Rail with the Silent A podcast. And man, we back with another one and a quick one at that. Yo, hit that like button, comment below, and subscribe, man. If you got the time, please subscribe. We appreciate all that love. We're going quick, we're going fast. And for this one, we're going to get straight into it. As everybody saw this past weekend, the likes of Gervonta the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach going to a controversial majority decision draw. Is it a robbery? Is it a on either end? Both men are screaming robbery, obviously, but most of the audience, most of the public, most of the other fighters, everybody's screaming robbery on the likes of Lamont Roach. And before we get right into that, and before we get into that video, I got to give a special shout out to my man Major, subscribe on the channel. Shout out to that man, salute to that man, because he's the one that called it. And I said I was going to do this video. I said I was going to call him out, and I am. Shout out to Major, man. You're a real one. You stuck with Lamont Roach. You said he's going to be a good fighter. You said he's going to bring the fight to Gervonta Tank Davis. You even said he might TKO him in round 10s. To be honest with you, it was looking scary. It was looking bad towards the later rounds, as Lamont Roach did control the action, did press him, and didn't feel much of what Gervonta Tank Davis was trying to get back to him. So salute to you. You definitely called it. He was a much better fighter than we thought. Salute to that man. Salute to Major, man. Shout out to you. Let's get straight into it. Is it a robbery? In our eyes here on the Silent A podcast, I hate to call it a robbery for a very close fight. I strictly save robbery for egregious, the man won 8 out of 4 rounds or something like that. We scored it live. We had it here. We had it in the favor of Gervonta Tank Davis, 115, 113, or a draw. Granted, for me, you got to take it from the champ. I felt that Lamont Roach looked good, did a lot better than what we thought, but I don't think he took it from the champ. But then again, as I look back at a few more rounds, and I know a few of you are already mad about what I just said. Hold on. As I look back at a few more rounds, I definitely can see Lamont Roach winning that fight. It was definitely a back and forth. I can definitely see it a 7-5, 115, 113 decision in the likes of Lamont Roach, or again, a draw. But the robbery, I think the way we're going to have to use robbery in this case, and a lot of other channels starting to use it, you name them, the big channels starting to use robbery. I think we got to attach the robbery not just to the scoring, but the robbery could come in the sense that they rob Lamont Roach of the knockdown. It clearly wasn't scored. We look back at the scorecards. Obviously, they've got a week or so to look at it to bring that back. Was it bad scoring on the end? Because it looked like the ref did call it a knockdown. He started counting it. Shout out to Steve Willis. But maybe they took it away. Maybe they said, hey, he had to readjust his gear. That is a rule. But in our book, man, that should have been a knockdown. If we want to scream robbery on the case of that, then I will say the likes of Lamont Roach did win the fight, should have won the fight with that knockdown. And then he was robbed, yes, of the knockdown where Gervonta Tank Davis took the knee. I don't know what the hell the brother was thinking. And it was getting spicy in there. It was getting weird. The whole build up to this fight, the whole interaction from Gervonta Tank Davis for this fight was weird. His energy felt off. And when he got in that ring, he just felt disengaged. Honestly, getting to the point where it felt like he didn't even want to be there still. He just didn't want to fight him. I know these guys are good friends outside of the ring. Well, let's not say good friends, but they're very associated with each other. They're not enemies. They don't dislike each other. And maybe that's why Gervonta Tank Davis was disengaged from this fight. He did not want to fight Lamont Roach. He is friends with him, glad he got a bag and all that good stuff. He had nothing but good things to say about him. But that 9th round, who knows what the hell was going on? So if we want to say robbery, then yeah, I got to go back and say, yes, he was robbed of that knockdown. Yes, he probably should have won the fight had that knockdown been scored. Since it wasn't, I still had a 115, 113 Gervonta Tank Davis, but I could still see it either way for either fighters. In that case, I can't call that a robbery, meaning the scoring of that, but I will say the brother got robbed. Speaking out both sides of my neck, obviously, but he got robbed of that knockdown. It should have been called, and it probably should have been Lamont Roach. With that said, are we throwing away the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis? The one thing I don't like, and I really hated about the boxing culture at certain times, is like when somebody loses, and this is why fighters, by the way, don't challenge themselves. When a brother lose, when a fighter lose, it's all Hail Mary, pile on them, gang on them, throw them out the window, get rid of them. They just disregard everything that fighter had did previously in the past few fights. Like, they weren't knocking heads loose. Like, they weren't setting the division on fire. They had a bad night. It happens. It's boxing. And you get thrown off. It's a bad style matchup. Honestly, it proved to us, again, shout out to Major, Lamont Roach was a bad style matchup for the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis. It proved in that fight, and it was a bad night for him, a bad just fight, period. For build up, you name it, bad pay-per-view, you name it. I don't think the brother really wanted to be there, but still, do we throw him away? Hell no. I disagree with every other channel that's giving slander, saying Gervonta Davis is a hype job and overdone, overran. No, because what you're doing right now, you're disregarding the talents of Lamont Roach. And shout out to that man. We had him get knocked out between rounds 6 and 8, but he proved me wrong, and I love to get proved wrong. I love a good underdog. I love somebody who can shake up the division, and shout out to Lamont Roach. Now, I'm not going to come out here and say he's a world beater. I'm just going to say his style was definitely matched up well against the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis, and he's a real one. He can scrap, and he can fight, and he can box well. By downplaying Gervonta Tank Davis as a hype job and protected, you're taking away what Lamont Roach did in that ring that night and how great he showed he could be. Now, I would like to see Lamont Roach take on a different fighter in the likes of Shakur Stevenson if he wants to. We're going to get to that in a second. Put a pin in it because he did call him out if he can't get the Tank Davis fight, or just any other top contender in the 135-pound division. I think 140 be too much right now. Weight adjustment and all that good stuff. But I would like to see him against another big name. I hate to see rematches, and I said this on the live. I don't like to see rematches run exactly right back. I want to see the fighters match up with somebody else real quick, get a good victory, get a good win, where it's a knockout or a decisive victory. And I don't mean against a no-name. I mean take on a big name, rebuild that rematch. Because nobody wanted the Tank and Lamont Roach. Let's get that straight. We didn't want this to begin with, but I guess now we do since it turned out to be a good fight. Let's let them build that back up, see a different style, see another fight. I'm selfish. I want to see the Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson fight myself. Have Lamont Roach take on another name at 135 that's decent, maybe a Cambosos or somebody, so that he can, change up his styles and fight different people in that weight class. Not that he's just too familiar with Gervonta Tank Davis. Get a knockout if he can against the likes of Cambosos. Same thing for Gervonta Tank Davis. Beat the likes of Shakur Stevenson or whoever wins that fight, because that's a 50-50. They take on Lamont Roach, rebuild that rematch if Tank Davis wins. And we finally get that scrap done, get it out the way. Selfishly, yes, I want to see that fight more than this rematch. But still, Lamont Roach earned his due. He earned his keep in the 135-pound division. I don't want to see him go back down to 130. There's not too many names there. I mean, Stephen Fulton moved up himself, didn't he? No, Stephen Fulton's at 130. I'm tripping. We can see what happens, He can take on like a Stephen Fulton, move back down, but I want to see him at 135. Anyways, we're talking a little bit too long. Let's wrap this up, right? Are we throwing Gervonta Tank Davis away? No. Hell no. You can't. You can't wipe away the knockouts he's done previously, the people he's beaten previously. Yeah, he's had some, some back and forth, and people saying he weight drained the likes of Ryan Garcia, and then obviously he just beat Frank Martin. Frank Martin was never on that level in the last 2 years. Is it the silk sheets and pajamas bringing down the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis? Because it does look like his killer instinct, that dog mentality, that DC, Baltimore area built in him. And obviously he's from the likes of Baltimore, but that whole, DC, Baltimore metro, just grit that they have, that boxing, for whatever you call it, ferociousness, I guess. That dog in him, it seems to be going away. He seems to be too Hollywood right now. I think he's getting he's getting in his own way. I think he needs to reset. I think the PBC needs to work on him. His handlers need to work on him and get him back into that mode. Yes, he is a star. He should be treated like a star, but he needs to learn from the like of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo makes all the money in the world, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars, and he still fights like a dog, still fights like it's his last damn fight. He always comes prepared. He's got the hell of a chin on him, and he just comes in there to scrap, and he dedicates himself in camps as always, not just training to look good and be in the weight class, training for the perfect fight against the opposition he's coming up against. Yeah, he lost. He fell back in here, lost the likes of Bivol and obviously Floyd Money Mayweather previously, but he comes back and comes back strong. Tank Davis needs to take this draw as a loss, because really, we're going to reverse all the way back to the beginning. If you count that knockdown, and yeah, the brother probably lost that fight. He should take it as a loss, get back in that ring, get that dog back in him. It is his time to get the hate because Gervonta Tank Davis laughs at everybody when they lose. He just laughed at Shakur Stevenson, but having a 9-round TKO decision, 9-round TKO win against the likes of Padley last week. So yeah, brother, it's your time to get some of this criticism, some of that hoopla, and some of this and some of that, and some teasing. But with that said, to the rest of the community, to the rest of the boxing community, we can't throw him away. He's still a real one. He's still in there. Shout out to Lamont Roach for coming in and showing what he can do and boxing well, boxing smart. We did put that in our 3-minute fight drill, but previously, if he did go all the way, he had to do it with smart pressure, staying out of the way, swim without getting wet, and he could win by decision victory. We did have that caveat in there. I thought it was a very slim chance, but he showed us here on the Sunday podcast it was more than just a slim chance. It was the way, and he proved it. Shout out to that man. Shout out to both fighters. We don't throw no fighter away. We throw no fighter away. We say it again. We throw no fighter away. They will be back. This is how we keep these fighters challenging themselves. This is how we see the big fights. This is how we see it going. If we salute to them, give them a little teasing here and there because Gervonta Tank Davis obviously earns it. But let's build it right back up and keep supporting our fighters. Keep supporting the ones who put on the entertainment for us, who get in there. That way we can actually continue to see the big names, continue to see the big fights, and get the deals done because now no one's worried about losing that O. And the last thing we want to say before we get up out of here about Gervonta the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach for that matter. For Lamont Roach, I want to see him in a big fight next. I do not want to see the rematch right away. I hate rematches back to back. That's just us here. I do want to see the rematch eventually, maybe the fight after next, but I want to see him against a big name. I think he deserves another big payday. Salute to that man. Salute to Lamont Roach. For Gervonta the Tank Davis, I think if he takes this draw that he was gifted with as a loss, we're going to see a dangerous man. We could potentially see a very dangerous man. Now, we're going to see what kind of fighter he really is. There's ones that take that loss as a relief because they finally lost, and now they're going to really let it go and really get in there and show what they can do, take some more chances, take some more risk, and become a great in the divisions. Or we can see him relapse because there's some fighters that take that first loss and don't know how to recover. They're shook. Their whole manhood, their whole persona is destroyed. We will see what kind of man Gervonta Tank Davis is and how he takes this draw. I think he needs to take it as a loss and take it as a rebuild and take it as a relief and come back and show what type of fighter he really is. The guy that's got 28 plus knockouts. High knockout ratio. This is 2025, man. Boxing is great. It's time for that brother to show how great he is if he's going to be great. We're going to find out who he really is. Gervonta Tank Davis, can you really come back from this draw/loss? Can you rebuild yourself? Are you what you say you are? Is your handlers are what you say you are? Can the PBC promote you back and get you in that big scrap? Can we see you with the license course Stevenson and come back mentally strong, mentally prepared, and mentally focused? You got the physical attributes, but are you mentally focused to recover after a draw, after a loss, after any type of, controversy? We will see. Anyways, man, we talked way too long on that. Salute to everybody that had Lamont Roach. Salute to the draw. Salute to both fighters, man. Let's go see the rebuild. Let's see the rematch after the next fights they have. Let's see a big fight. We're looking forward to Shakur Stevenson taking on the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis. That's the rumors that has it. But we'll see. This is boxing. Anyways, man, hit that like button. Comment below. Subscribe if you got the time, and we appreciate all that love again. Subscribe if you got the time. It's your boy Cash Real with the Sunday Podcast. Till the next time. Peace.